without further ado, I want to just hop right in there. So some people use a brush, some people use their hands, some people use a spatula. Whatever tool works best for you. I prefer to use the back of my rat tail comb, and I don't wear gloves. I know you should. You should. I don't. I'm an expert. I done it a million times here, and I'm going to just start applying. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to start in the middle and start working it downward, down the middle part that I put in, because after this 12-week process, this has been the most coarse and the most thick part of my hair. Normally it is my front part of my hair is usually the most coarse, but this time, for whatever reason, be it the humidity, be it the grapeseed oil that I've been trying for the past 2 or 3 months, be it whatever, it's just that part of my hair is not as bad as the middle part. So now that I got that part covered, I want to start working it forward this way. And it really doesn't even take me that long to do this. Normally I have this all applied and I have to actually wait for the relaxer to break down my texture into the desired level of straightness, because sometimes I dilute it down a little bit too much and I have to wait for it to work through the oil to break down the texture. Now that I got the middle section done, I'm going to start over here on this side and start from the bottom and work my way up. I did see a YouTube video of someone saying that they didn't like to do all of this down here to the bottom of their head because they were having to pry their hair apart and it was causing some breakage issues. If you start from the bottom, like I'm going to show you, start down here and make your first part and begin to apply from here. And I like my edges to be as straight as possible because I have very coarse, very thick edges, so I actually comb my relaxer through that part of my hair and only that part of my hair. Other than that, I don't do that any place else, only on my edges. If you are a person who has weak, thin, or damaged edges, please do not do this, because you will further ruin and further thin your hair. But since I never have that problem and my edges are the thickest part of my hair, the second thickest part of my hair, I'm going to start on my edges and work my way up from there. If you have thin edges, please do this part of your head last. See, I'm having absolutely no trouble getting through my hair with the oil and the conditioner and the Vaseline on it, because I'm going from the bottom up. If you start from the top up, from the top down, you will have a great deal of difficulty getting through it. And I try to do the upper section. I try to do the up section here and then come down with the back of the comb and smooth. As I go up, I smooth, and then I come down and I smooth. Smoothing helps get it straight and get the product evenly distributed so that it can work on your hair, because I'm sure there have been times, I know I have, there have been times where I've relaxed my hair and I have missed spots, and you can clearly see where those spots are, because you'll have wavy tex-lax hair and then you'll have thick coarse hair sticking out, and you can clearly tell that you missed it. But if you're going to put heat on your hair, it won't even matter, because that part that you missed will blend right in perfectly with the heat. However, I'm still on my summer no heat challenge, and I cannot wait till the fall when I straighten my hair, when I flat iron my hair again. Cannot wait to see just how thick it's gotten, how much longer it's gotten, because heat is one of the biggest destroyers of our hair, even more so than the abuse of relaxers. Because hopefully no one's relaxing their hair every week, but there are people who put heat to their hair every single week, and the devastation that heat will cause is far greater than a relaxer. You know, most people relax their hair every 6 to 8 weeks. I normally always get to 10 or 11 weeks, but around 11 and 12 weeks is where I begin to lose my patience with my hair, because it will take me 30-45 minutes to detangle my hair, and at that point I'll start to get rough with it, and I'll get rough with it and I'll start to not care if I rip it out. So that's when I know it's time to thin it out with a relaxer or tex-lax. I use those terms interchangeably because they are the same. A texturizer and done this. I could have used a super relaxer and done this if I diluted it down with oil and conditioner or water or whatever you choose to weaken it down with. It really doesn't matter. And the brand of the relaxer you use doesn't matter either. It all just depends on your own personal preference. I prefer to use Motions because of the preconditioning treatment and all of the conditioning treatments afterwards that help to get your hair back moist and back in balance. But I also, when I relax my hair, I do not put heat on it. I do not put braids in it. I don't color it. I don't do anything to further damage my hair or further shock it or further do anything to it to take it out of its natural state any further than the relaxer is done, because you want to make sure that your hair is properly moisturized, properly conditioned, and has the proper protein balance. Again, all of that stuff is extremely important to your hair. Do not get a relaxer and put heat right on it and then wonder why your hair is shedding like crazy or why it's thinning like crazy. It's because you have broken down the texture and then you've broken it down again with another process. I know we all want to rock our fresh perms, our fresh relaxers, our fresh tex-laxes right after we get them. But it's not worth it. It's not worth the damage you're going to do to your hair in the long run afterwards. I always wait at least a week, if not 2, before I do a wrap or a flat iron, anything like that. If you want to do a roller set, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely minimal heat. That's non-direct heat. It's not the same thing as putting a hot comb or a flat iron to your hair. And also, I wanted to take a moment to talk about protein and moisture balance. When you do a process like this that's breaking down your hair, you are taking away the protein that's naturally in it. When you are using a lot of heat on your hair, you're breaking down the protein bonds in your hair as well. So if you're doing that, if you're damaging your hair a lot, you will want to do a protein treatment after a relaxer, or after you color, or after you put a lot of heat on your hair. If you're a person who's natural, who doesn't use a lot of heat, then you don't even really need a protein treatment, in my opinion. Now, some people will tell you that you do. I believe that you don't, because If the protein in your hair is already intact, you don't need to add protein to that. If you aren't breaking down the protein in your hair, you don't need to add protein to it. And the relaxer absolutely breaks down every single bond in your hair. That is why I call it controlled damage. The relaxer breaks down the protein bonds as well as the moisture bonds. It breaks down the disulfate bond, which is the strongest bond that holds our hair together and gives it its shape and gives it its texture. This is why our hair is able to lay straight after we relax it, because it's broken down that disulfate bond. And for my naturals out there, you can also get your hair very straight with a honey hot oil treatment that I have a video on. You do that before you blow dry, before you flat iron, and that will definitely soften all of that new growth or all of that coarse texture. You can absolutely do that and straighten your hair. It's a great thing to do for people who are transitioning and want to go natural. That is absolutely a wonderful thing to do. If you want to rock a straight style for a week, you do a honey hot oil, and your hair will be straight. It will be manageable. It'll be soft. It'll be easier to get it straight. Moisture is a great thing to soften texture. That's why a lot of people are huge proponents of coconut oil, because coconut oil has the ability to soften texture, to moisturize hair to the point that the texture has temporarily changed. In this section, we're going to just repeat the same thing. We're going to start at the bottom and work my way up. And if you've been paying attention, you haven't seen me fighting with my hair. You haven't seen me prying anything apart. You haven't seen me breaking anything, because I'm starting from the bottom and I'm working my way up. I saw one video of a woman doing her tex-lax, and well, she was doing a bone straight relaxer. I'm sorry. She was doing her relaxer, and her hair was so dry, literally you could hear it snapping as she was combing through it. Make sure that your hair is not dry before you do a relaxer, because it will be even more dry afterwards. It takes away from the length retention. There seems to be such a huge obsession on YouTube with length. Whose hair is longer than the next person's? Whose hair is longer than the next person's? It's not important. That's why I never came on here stating that I wanted a certain length of hair. That's not important to me. What's important to me is having healthy hair, having thick, healthy hair, having to keep the hair that I've grown, being able to not damage my hair. That's what's important to me. Not having hair down to my ass, because why? I don't understand the purpose. I don't understand the point of having hair down to your ass. For what? So you can look at someone else and say my hair is longer than yours. What is the competition? This is not a competition. We should be here to help one another, not put one another down because someone has neck length hair and your hair is down to your ass. I don't understand. But that's just me venting. Don't mind that if you're just here to learn how I tex-lax my hair. Don't mind the venting. It's a simple process, more than anything. If you want your hair to grow, you don't have to do anything but sit there. It'll grow by itself. If you want longer hair, you just have to not break it.